America Thayer. She was brutally murdered in Shakopee yesterday.
Today we're learning more about Thayer, the suspect in her death, and what friends have described as a troubling relationship between the two.
And Fox 9's Mary McGuire joining us with more on this story. Mary?
Well, there's some really gruesome video of this crime circulating on social media, which Fox 9 is choosing not to show. Friends and coworkers who came to the vigil tonight say they want America to be remembered as the sweet and kind person that she was, not for the tragic way that she died.
God, never forgotten.
Holding a sign and balloons, Faith Howie and her family came to the intersection of 4th Avenue and Spencer Street to honor the life of their neighbor, America Thayer.
I'm not going to see that beautiful smile again that I've seen every day.
They weren't alone. Former coworkers and friends stopped by the memorial, leaving flowers to remember a woman they call an angel on earth.
I'm still kind of in shock.
It's just really hard and very traumatizing.
Just one day earlier, Shakopee police were called to that intersection. A search warrant reveals when they arrived, they found Thayer's decapitated body lying on the ground next to a car. Authorities say they have a suspect in custody, who multiple people tell Fox 9 was in a long-term relationship with Thayer, where domestic abuse was a consistent problem. About a month ago, Howie says Thayer came to her apartment looking for help.
She goes, "Can I come sleep here tonight?" She goes, "I'm afraid he's going to get up and start it again."
Court records reveal the suspect was convicted on domestic assault charges in 2017 and was facing arson charges for allegedly trying to burn his apartment down. On the most recent charges, he was released on $50,000 bond this spring. Those close to Thayer say they don't want people to remember the way she died, but rather the way she lived.
We just needed a time for everyone to heal and come together and just remember for who she was and not for what happened.
Now, on Wednesday afternoon, the suspect was scheduled to be in court, but he didn't show up. Formal charges are expected to be filed in this case tomorrow afternoon. But when I was out there today, there were a lot of people who knew America, but there was also a lot of people from the community in Shakopee who just wanted to come by and leave a flower and, give their condolences. So just a beloved woman in the area.
Yeah, what a horrible tragedy.
And for all the people who live around there who also witnessed all of this, too.
Very traumatizing.
Okay, so y'all just heard that that audio right there, and that is like one of the worst type of stories that anybody can hear. I mean, I've done stories about domestic abuse and domestic violence on my channel, whether it's coming from the man to the woman or the woman to the man in some instances, and they usually never ever really turn out right. But this one right here is like way up there. Like, this dude right here decapitated her. And by the way, his name is Alexis Saborit, because they didn't mention it in the video, but that is his name. And might I add, like, she does not look 55. I'm gonna be honest, when they said that she was 55, I'm like, 55 where? She looked very young for her age. Like, that's scary. That's scary. Imagine you're walking out and you just happen to see a body in the street and they're missing their head. Like, you would think that it's some kind of a prank, maybe at first, but then realize that it's not, and like Halloween is not until October. But that's just crazy. And when it comes to domestic situations, sometimes you'll have where people, they may not leave because they're scared of leaving, that the person is going to stalk them, or the person has always said that mental enslavement is more powerful than the physical, like they could have got in their head. But you heard one of the neighbors say, "Can I come stay here for the night, because I'm afraid he's going to come after me," or everything like, or it's not safe for me to be in that house and everything like that. And then now he just finally, unfortunately got her. But they said he didn't even show up to his court date. So this guy's literally tacking on more consequences for himself. But I'm going to just be real here. Whether he showed up to that court date or not, I don't think anything's going to stop him from getting that life without parole charge. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is for Minnesota in their death penalty, if they have one or not. But if they did, he would definitely be right there in the chair within the next couple of years. But if she was my family member, I would find a way to expedite it. unless I would be the one to do the extradition myself. I mean, the expedition myself, I should say. But that's just, it's really gruesome to do these type of stories. And matter of fact, how I found out about this story was, I think it was in one of my recent live streams, and someone had wrote in the chat and asked me, did I hear about this? And the thing is, I didn't think nothing of it. And then I went on to my computer, and right there on the screen or the home page was this story. But shout out to whoever it was that told me about it. I can't remember the name, but it's definitely, you know, very, very, very messed up. And to anybody that's in a domestic situation, do whatever it is that you can to try to get out of it before you end up in the situation like she did, or anybody else who ends up in domestic abuse situations. Like I said, when it comes to domestic abuse or domestic violence, it's always a power thing. It's always a mental thing. They always like to prey on what they perceive to be as weak, because it's very hard to get on a strong-minded person when it comes to this. They usually prey, like I said, they usually prey on a weak-minded person. Not saying that she was weak-minded or anything like that, but he, in his mind, felt that she was. And unfortunately, he was able to succeed in his plan to murder her in a very gruesome way, might I add. And just left her body right there in the street. I'm talk about cold-hearted, or heartless, I should say. But hopefully he gets everything coming his way wherever it is that he goes, because I'm sure he's going to Gen Pop. He ain't going to no protective custody. I definitely, for sure, would not put him there. And then imagine what the neighborhood and the neighbors have to, like, they're going to be traumatized by this for a while, especially since it seems like she was very well loved by the people in that community. So, yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments.